Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Everquest Old School. And on tonight's episode, we are over in Unrest with my Cleric, and we are in the main room. I know you guys are very familiar with that. We're level 21, almost close to being 22 actually. We need about 3/4 of one bubble, maybe a little bit less than that, before we get to level 22. Now, we're really trying to get to level 24 because I have my spells on me for that level, and it's going to be pretty nice. We're going to get a better heal spell, which I'm greatly looking forward to. In fact, let's look at those spells while we are here. So we have, what do we have over here? Dismiss Undead, so that's going to be a nice little damage spell to the undead. Hammer of Striking. Let's see, what are some of these other ones? Inspire Fear, so you get a fear spell. Symbols, again, Symbols grants a great deal more hit points, but it usually uses a gem, or not usually, always uses a gem. Different gems for different levels. Paradots are the ones I remember using the most. Wave of Fear, Poison, or actually get rid of poison, basically. Cure poison, counteract poison. Let's see, what is this? Revive, so I get my first revive spell. I believe that's 29, actually. Okay, so some of these are 29 spells that I went ahead and bought. And what do we have here? Bravery, so another buff. And this is the one that I'm really looking forward to, is the Greater Healing at level 24. Anytime you get a new heal spell as a cleric, it definitely helps your character in the long run. It helps your group out. Now, usually when you first get it, it uses a dramatic increase in power. So much that you will kind of contemplate not even using it and using the lower level one, because you can cast a greater number of those without running out of power. But the difference on that is, from my experience, is you always kind of want to use the new one, because it heals for so much more than the lower level one does. Granted, it is eating up your power faster, but that's only from appearance. I believe it's still more efficient to use the newer one than it is to use the older one. Okay, so his pet just broke right there, so he's going to have to go get another one. Or he's going to have to... There he goes, he got it. So we have 2 enchanters with us, and a ranger. And we used to have 2 clerics, but the other cleric had to leave suddenly, so it's just down to me. And we're doing pretty good over here. Hold on a second. This is one of my favorite zones back in the day. Okay, so we got a few on us. I'm going to let them mez it. Yep, there we go. Normally, I would root it and then run away to another side of the corner of a room. But when you have this many enchanters with you, you don't really have to go running around. And I've found that if you can avoid moving all that much as a cleric, you're usually better off for a lot of reasons. One, you can med more, which means you have more power to use. And 2, you don't have to risk yourself getting aggro from creatures around the room or near doorways, or just worrying about the positioning of the mobs, because now you're in a different spot, and he may not have turned it away from where you're sitting now, so you might get the area effect spell that they have on that. So again, if you could stay in that nice little safe, warm blanket of a corner, you kind of want to do that, especially when you can take advantage of something like that with this many enchanters. But we do need to get some more people, because, again, if the tank leaves, we're kind of... there's not much we can do. Yeah, we got enchanters who have pets, but pets aren't pullers, you know? They can take the hits, but they can't go out and pull the mob. So you still have to run into that issue of who goes out and does that. And whoever does is going to be taking damage as they get back. And then the pets still have to... taunt the creature enough so that they stop attacking you, unless, of course, you root it. I'm not saying it's not possible. People have done it. It does work. It's just not nearly as efficient or as safe as using somebody who's playing the character, because it's a little bit easier for them to do it. Just make sure you're either watching me or you're going to cast as we... Okay, you've been late on every spell cast, and I overwrote all mine so far. Nice. So the 2 enchanters are trying to figure out how to work together. It's the same problem you run into when you have 2 clerics. Granted, heals don't overlap each other. They they will heal whether one hits first and the next one hits right afterwards. You still get both heals. Whereas if they use their slow spell, only one of them can actually take effect at the time. So if the first enchanter hits it and the second one casts it, the second one is going to be a waste, because it's already on that creature. The only time that the second one kinda is only halfway a waste is if he's a higher level and his slow is better than the original guy's. But then the original guy's is completely a waste, and you're still running into the same issues. So you kind of want to work those things out together. Just saying, got to be a little more attentive, or else we're burning unnecessary mana. Could I get rabies cures, please? Yeah, actually have that up. There we go. Normally the tank won't ask for that because he's just going to get it again. He's going to get it again and again and again and again. So they usually don't worry too much about that. But if you have a high resist and you only get it every so often, then there's no harm in asking for it, especially if the Cleric is kind of cool and he doesn't... well, one of our guys is getting hit pretty hard over there. Go ahead and toss him a heal. I was going to come out here and loot all these corpses because none of the guys in my group ever seem to want to do that, and it just stacks up and causes... What level is this guy? Timmers. Let's see. Can we invite him into the group? 25 rogue. That might be too high for the 17 enchanter we got. Let's see. Notes. Bone ships. Not bad. I'm a little overweight, which is you can kind of tell while moving so slow. Ooh, what are these? Rawhide shoulder pads. I don't think that's anything special. No, 3 AC. It's interesting that would drop from these guys. I know bronze drops over here, and you can get some pretty decent stuff. Ooh, look at that. Those sell for a decent amount, too. Okay, so we got a little bit of money there. That's not bad. Okay, Mezit. Want to keep or kill pet or stay DPS? Well, again, if you have a pet, it does eat up a little bit of the experience of the group. So some groups that don't need the pet damage or DPS or safety of having that pet as an extra tank will tell you just to go get rid of it. You know, even if you're a necro, they will tell you to get rid of your pet. You don't even have to mez one. They just don't want it at all. But some groups will be perfectly fine with it. They won't care either way. Other ones will definitely want you to have it. So again, it's one of those things that the people in the group have to decide. And it's the makeup of the group and the zone that really determines that for the most part. Some zones are absolutely horrible to have pets in. Usually dungeons don't really work very well for pets, and a lot of groups will actually tell you to get rid of their pet while you move to the room, and once you get in the room, then you can put it back up again, because while you're going down the hallways and things of that sort, the pet behaves just like the mobs in that zone do. And, you know, if there's a bad pathing issue, your pet may go down the hallway, turn around, and go back through half the zone to get back down to that room that you just got because of the pathing weird issues that they have there. So just getting rid of them altogether will solve that as long as you stay in the room. The moment you leave the room, then you have to worry about pathing issues again, so you get rid of your pet. So as long as you keep the mobs in the room, you will be fine using that. Of course, again, some groups will just be like, we don't need that extra DPS. Don't even bother putting them back up. But other groups will say, you know, we kind of want that safety net because we have a bard for a tank, and it'd be nice to have an extra little pet there just in case the bard isn't able to do it. You got a haste mez, an all breeze, and overflow mez on flow. Okay, on lower cons. So he was trying to really work it out with the other guy. I don't know if the other guy's really even paying attention all that much. He may just be trying to do a nice relaxing playthrough without getting too much into details. Some people like that. Some people don't want to maximize their character as much as they possibly could. And to each their own. I mean, yeah, there's players like that, and they will still do fairly well in groups. But when you start getting into raids, usually they can't keep up because they're used to a nice, slow, relaxing play. And when... Okay, so he's on me. Let's see if he's going to mez him. He rooted him, at least. And he's rooted, of course, too, so that's why he's not moving. And there's not really anything you can do to that. If you have Dispel, I believe you can get rid of that. But I believe Dispel takes off the first 3 buffs. And so you might be able to take off the root, but you'd also take off two of his other buffs. So most people will put on little garbage buffs like resist cold and resist disease or something like that. Something they don't need in that zone as your first 3 buffs. So if you are dispelled, you don't lose clarity or you know, heroic bond or something you really, really want. He's dotted you. Can't mez him now. Okay. So they're still working it out. Oh, we're bad. In fact, let me show you guys. There's not very many people in the zone right now. There's 12 players in the zone, which is ridiculous because we're 4 of them just with our group alone. And the other ones, look at it. It's just there's not very many people on for some reason, and there's tons and tons of people on the server. You know what I think it is they just had that experience. I keep calling it weekend, but it was from Wednesday to Monday, and everybody went back and played their low-level characters to get them a little bit more experience, or they played their main to get them past that heck level that they were stuck on. And all these low-level zones are pretty much empty now. I went over to Crushbone as well, and there's almost nobody in that zone. So I'm guessing everybody who had a low-level character pretty much power leveled them through these early stages, and now these zones are just dead. So we need like another wave of newbies to come through and make characters and slowly level them up so that we have a nice pool of people. So again, those experience weekend ones, they're pretty nice, but now the big pool of people are going to be like 35 to like 50 from what I can see. And until I get up to that level again, I'm pretty much going to have nobody to group with, which is kind of a shame. It kind of kills these low-level zones when they did that. I don't think that's what they intended. I doubt that's what they intended for it to happen, but it kind of is what seems to be the case now. It's kind of unfortunate because I do like this zone. And I did want to go up into that fireplace room, and I could have gotten up there at my level if there was a group to take up there, but there's not. There's like nobody in this zone, and you can't go up there without a decent tank, and we don't have a decent tank. We have a decent ranger. Which is another bird altogether, because he can tank, but you take him into a serious place that needs an actual tank, like a warrior, to actually take those hits and have the hit points to be able to not drop, from 100% to like 0.5 a second. And he's not really gonna cut. What the heck, the zone? Is that coming through right now? Hold on a second, guys. Because I have to pay attention to that really extreme now, because we don't have a lot of people, and so if I don't, stay on the ball, people are going to die, and I don't want that to happen, because I kind of been slacking a little bit on some of my other plays. Come on, where's he at? Just take a stroll by the door. Hopefully that hag doesn't murder us. Yeah. So they all saw that, and they all ran over here to hide. Where's the other guy? He's hiding right underneath me. Let me go ahead and loot these while we wait. Okay, so get some more bone chips. Bone chips, again, guys, are worth about 10 platinum in a stack, because Necros need them just so often. It's just crazy how often you can go through pets. Again, you may have weeks where you only go through one pet at a time the whole time you're playing, and then you have days where you log on, and for whatever reason, you may be traveling a lot through dangerous zones, and you feel like you need that pet up during that travel just in case. Or you may find that your groups keep breaking up, or your groups aren't that great, and so your pet keeps dying because he's constantly getting aggro when he's not supposed to. And yeah, you can go through them pretty easy. Yeah, they nuke too hard, can't handle them without a greater heal. Well, that's not entirely true. We have killed hags in the past. You just need a good group. You need a group that's on the ball, has a decent amount of classes that will allow you to burn it down, because again, it needs a magical weapon to be hit with melee, and you just don't really have that many people at this stage of the game that have magical weapons. And if you have a wizard or something like that, they're really not that bad. But again, the wizard has to be high enough level to actually hit the enemy, and that can be kind of difficult if you're down here in this room. This room I've seen as low as 13 for the level, and I've seen as high as 23. I haven't really seen anything past that. I'm at 21, almost 22, so I'm pretty close to leaving this room behind whether I want to or not. And I definitely do want to. I want to check out that fireplace room. I think it would be nice to sit there with that roaring fire in the background and just hear the sound of that and be nice and relaxing, because I like looking at like fireplaces and just sitting there and watching it, and hear the crackling of the fire. And it does have that sound effect up there. So I definitely do want to sit up there for a little while, but I just haven't been able to get up there. And once we go through that one, sometime later in the future, I want to go down to the basement and check that area out. But again, if this zone is just dead because nobody's in it, it can have that domino effect too. Like I said before, when you log on real late at night and there's nobody on, so you log off like an hour later and somebody else logs in like 20 minutes after you, and so on and so forth. And so everybody's coming in and checking the zone, but nobody ever bothers to stay long enough to put a group together, and so the zone just dies. Like, it just nobody bothers to come there after like a month of that happening because there's just never anything there going on, and fewer and fewer and fewer people will show up. So even if somebody tries to start a group up and keep it going, it's just really not possible because just everybody's lost interest. They've gone to other greener pastures. They found out where everybody's going, and they show up there. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen because this is a really cool zone, and I didn't get to explore it as much as I wanted to. So if that does happen, I'll probably have to get a group of friends together. Maybe you guys watching will want to log on. We can go ahead and put a group together and come in here and just tear this zone apart for a little while. Wow, he's getting hit hard. Hold on a second. My heals do so much for this guy, and his life wasn't even moving because he was taking hits that hard. There we go. We're good. I don't know, it's just kind of weird doing this room with so few people. I'm so used to this whole area, this whole zone being camped. And if I was playing as much as I probably would like to play, and I had the time to actually invest, I probably would have been done with the zone like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But I've been going through it slow because I didn't see any need to rush. You know, the first time I played the game, I won't say that I rushed through it, but I definitely did power through it a lot quicker than I am now. And the reason behind that is because it's addictive. You know, you start playing the game and you're like, I want to get to that next level. And then when you get to that level, you're like, oh, you know, 2 more levels or 3 more levels, I get my next level spells. I definitely want to check those out. And then there's like, oh, there's another zone after that I want to get to, but I need to be, you know, 2 levels past that other level that requires me to get those spells. And so it's like one of these little things where it's just inching you ever more in the right direction. And there's always another little goal that you can set for yourself that's not too far away, that you can kind of justify yourself staying on for another 8 or 9 hours and power leveling a little bit through that level and being even that much closer the next time you log on. So that's kind of how I did it. I always stayed on for long periods of time, and I got really high real quick compared to this playthrough. And the reason I was taking my time this time is because I didn't last time as much as I would have liked. There's a lot of places I want to go to, and I just haven't been able to do it, even on this playthrough, just because there's a lack of people on the places I want to go check out. And so hopefully with my Necro or with the Shadow Knight, I can go there solo and check them out, even if it's going to be real slow and I only kill a mob every like 5-10 minutes because of the downtime of waiting for my health to regenerate. I still want to go to those places because I'm not going there with this guy as much as I prefer. May as well get Mage. Yeah. Hold on a second. I wasn't even paying attention. I'm glad he was. That's another thing. When I do these commentaries, it's hard for me to watch what's going on in group and OOC and make sure that I'm doing my job, as well as come up with interesting topics to talk about. But thankfully, you guys have actually given me lots of subjects that you leave down in the comment section. I've loved hearing back from you guys so far. And like I mentioned on the last episode, I've actually got to see some of your YouTube channels because of it. And hold on a second. There we go. Another mage. Oh no, I'm getting attacked by something? What are the odds? Nice timing. A pet. Yeah, she's gonna have a pet. Just give her a second, man. I'm sure she had to invis to get here. Yeah, I love those people who instantly, when you join a group, they're like, clarity, you know, and they don't even say please, they're just like clarity. And I'm like, you gotta give people, you know, give people 30, 40 seconds after they join a group to see if they're going to do anything. If they don't do anything after 30 or 40 seconds, then you can ask for that stuff because they got to get settled. They got to figure out who's who. You know, clarity goes to the casters first because they may not have that much power to go around when they first join a group. And so they need to figure out who the cleric is, who's the buffer, you know, like the shaman or something, and give those people clarity first. They need to figure out who's the tank so they can give them a speed boost or any of those buffs that they may have. So it does take them a few seconds to look at that kind of stuff and figure out who needs what. Now, some people don't mind being told what they need. So when you join a group and they're like, clarity please, or haste please, or whatever the case is, some people don't mind that, but other people find that really annoying because they know what to give people. They just didn't have any time to do it. And so it's kind of an iffy thing. I usually prefer to wait. And if the enchanter hasn't given me clarity within like a minute or two of joining the group, then I'll ask for it. Can I get a DS Avas? DS. I'm not sure what DS stands for. Damage shield? Probably. It's probably a damage shield. Not quite sure why he... Oh, no, that's the tank. There we go. Let's see how many people are in the zone now. All we need is one more person, and we'll make it a full group. That would be perfect. Get the zone back alive. Get it going for a bit longer. Nope, 11 people. We've actually lost some more people. We gained her in our group, but we lost somebody else in the zone. Actually, 2 or 3 other people. Because we just had like 13, 14 people a few minutes ago. We're going to do this healing. Zoom in. And I think we're going to go ahead and end the episode here, guys. Again, I want to thank you for watching. If you like these videos, please hit that like button, subscribe. Definitely helps grow my channel, and I greatly appreciate it. Hold on 1 second. This guy is going to die if I don't pay attention. I am like one of the worst clerics when I do these videos, which is a crying shame because I used to be really good. Used to be is the key word, or keywords, because I'm not nearly as good as I once was. I used to be able to get the complete heal down to like 2 or 3% of their health before it cast, and I would do that continuously, like the whole time. Oh, there we go, Bard. What level? She can join. Did we lose somebody who just left? Somebody just left. Charm? No, he's there. Oh, she went linked it. Okay, she'll be back, though. So again, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.